Just as an aside, so I drink this kind of green stuff every morning. And about 3 weeks ago, one of these whole bell jars of this like green stuff broke in my car, and it just like seeped into the passenger side and the front. And since then, my car has just had a wicked smell. And so um, I don't know why I'm sharing that. It's just every time I drink this stuff now, I'm like, oh, be careful that you don't spill it. So yeah, might be a task for a detailing shop or something. So
That's why I don't drink healthy stuff.
that's right. Had it been a beer or something, maybe it wouldn't smell this bad. Yeah, it's just like it's ripe with all kinds of bacterial stuff. Anyway, I digress. Okay, it's 12:01. Let's get going. I thought today we'd do a compassion practice, and I was thinking about this idea of mirror neurons. I don't know if you've heard of this, but there's back in the like mid 90s, these guys in a lab in Italy were doing this cool experiment where they had some monkeys in an fMRI, and they were feeding them nuts, something that they really liked, and they would watch, the sort of the neural activity, like which were the networks that were getting activated when they saw the nuts and got to peel them and eat them and so on. And then just by a complete fluke, um, they I don't know, they were doing something to prepare, get the fMRIs dialed in or something like that. And one of the researchers grabbed a nut and started eating it and doing the same thing. And they noticed that the same neural activity in the monkeys that were in the fMRI was being activated. And so it raised this really interesting question of like, wow, them just watching me go through the same thing that they were doing earlier seems to stimulate the same neural activity. And so this concept of mirror neurons was coined. And of course, the big question is, does this apply to empathy as well? Now, neurology is obviously super complicated, and nothing's that simple. But there is this sense for some researchers where they suspect that what's going on when we see other humans having a certain experience, be it something mechanical like eating a nut, or in this case also certain types of emotional reactions. So, for example, I show you guys. I'll show you guys some pictures in a second, but I'm just sort of setting it up for this idea of loving kindness and what that how we can use that to sort of reinforce certain desirable networks in our brain. So when I look at this little kid, it's not that hard, I'm guessing, for any of us to feel what he or she is experiencing. Right? There's distress, there's tears. Any of us that are parents know this pretty well, and I can feel it right now. Like I can get that sense of, how much of that is my projection versus what the child is actually feeling is open for debate. But it clearly stimulates an empathetic response on my part. Same with this guy. He looks pretty happy. I've been there. I think I can share in his happiness or his joy. I don't need to know the details of what's going on. I can just kind of drop in and say, yeah, I can feel that. Here's the flip side of that. I've been there. Despair, sadness, despondency. Yeah. And then last but not least, this connection between two humans, and we can sense the joy, the love, the intimacy. So the point being, as we go through life, we are constantly receiving information, be it emotional, be it behavioral, whatever it might be, and our brain is processing it. And just to know that the way our brain processes it is very akin to us having that same experience. So that sets us up perfectly for this idea of self-directed positive neuroplasticity, where we can say, okay, well, let's practice that. Let's practice dropping into other people's experiences and then really feel it, really savor it, and stimulate that neurology, so that we make those networks a little more functional and accessible. So that's what I thought we'd do today. So let's, as per usual, start closing our eyes and take a moment to ground. Once again, as soon as I start that, I take a breath in, and then I notice that my feet are crossed. So I'm uncrossing them, putting both feet flat on the ground, because I want to really intentionally right now ground into this moment right now. Let's just take a minute or two to just be here. Really intentionally trying to slow things down, relaxing, noticing. Whatever the mind has been thinking about leading up to this point is done. It's literally just a memory. Neurologically speaking, it just means it's a bunch of neurons connecting and giving us images and this thing that we call a memory. It really has nothing to do with the present moment. And the same goes for the future. Any anticipation that we have of our to-do list, what we need to get done today. Again, it's just neural activity. It's got nothing to do with right here, right now. And the cool thing about the mind is that we can actually stimulate it and we can direct it into memories. So see if you can bring up a memory of a friend, a loved one, maybe a child, a parent, whomever it might be. And see if you can just drop into the memory and just observe them. And see if you can attune yourself to their experience, whether they're experiencing joy or they're having a hard time. It doesn't really matter. But the point is to notice the subjective experience of witnessing them have whatever experience they're having and feel into it. Of course, intellectually, we know they're having an experience, their mind is really active, they're probably projecting and processing based on past experiences. But there's a whole emotional, there's a feeling tone to what they're experiencing. See if you can connect with that. Maybe, just maybe, this is an example of mirror neurons in action. Your brain is processing their experience in such a manner that you get to feel elements of what they're experiencing. Now maybe shift to someone else and let's focus on a positive experience. So think of a loved one or someone who's maybe they got a really good grade on an exam. Maybe they had a good first date. They're really excited about how their workouts are going. Whatever it is, find someone who's experiencing something positive and then drop into that experience and share it with them. What's it like to witness someone experiencing joy, happiness? Noticing the imprint it has on you. Where in your body are you experiencing their joy and their happiness? And again, the idea behind this practice is in order to feel, connect with what they're experiencing, our nervous system has to some extent reproduce something similar. And that's the mirror neuron part. Now let's take a deep breath in through the nose. Long, slow exhale. Relaxing the chest, the shoulders, the belly, the hands. And hold the exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Another deep inhale. Long, slow exhale. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open your eyes. The body breathe on its own. And see if you can still notice this afterglow of what we just practiced. So in the background, there's this, I would call it attunement to other people, to experiences that others are having. And we can always use that as a doorway into stimulating those same parts of ourselves. So I hope that was helpful and that you can keep practicing that for the rest of the day. I'll see you tomorrow at noon for a gratitude practice. Take care, everyone.